The following is meant for entertainment and educational purposes. It is not meant to establish a doctor-patient relationship. Please consult your mental health provider for your mental health needs. Hello, welcome to Chez Eric, my home, where we talk about psychiatry and religion with a focus on how to apply it to your life. And today we're going to be talking about William James's The Varieties of Religious Experience. And this is going to be lectures 4 and 5, talking about healthy-mindedness. So we've been talking about healthy-mindedness all this time. What fun. And William James, in this particular part, right now, after we've established what healthy-mindedness is, what it's doing, what it's trying to do, what it's doing for people, after we did that, right, then now we're going to talk about the next step. And the next step is a really interesting step. And the next step is William James pointing out something called the mind-cure movement. And I had to wrap my head around this one after wrapping my head around the healthy-mindedness thing, because none of this makes any sense when you first read it. But the mind-cure movement is a movement that says that your mind can be cured with healthy-mindedness. And what does that mean? It means that according to healthy-mindedness, concept and the mind-cure movement, it's like you can see when you were blind just by your mind, right? You can be healed of your disease with just your mind, or you could have a spiritual regeneration with just your mind. And this movement has been taking hold, and it comes in the form of, say, a relaxation gospel. He says gospel of relaxation or don't worry movement, where you're not even allowed to complain about the weather. And it's a poor form. You can't speak about disagreeable things at all. And that's what he says is the shape of this. William James criticizes the mind cure movement, saying that, it's so optimistic that a trained intellect can't even understand it. So what does that mean? Well, it's so optimistic that anybody who tries to dig deeper into understanding what its beliefs are or what it's trying to do, get really confused, really confused. However, he points out that it's spreading around, this idea of mind cure, this healthy-mindedness is spreading around because it's practical. That's why it's spreading, not because it makes sense, not because, it has any greater truth. Is that people use it and they actually experience a happiness or more happiness, and that's why it stays around. You tell me, do you see that kind of happening in our day and age, where happy things and forms of religion spread around faster than, non-happy forms of religion? But the thing he really wants to do, which I admit I don't quite understand why he needs to make this step, but he makes this step, is to point out that the mind cure movement is actually a religious movement. So what does he mean by this? Well, he actually uses a term that I've really never seen before. It's called frowardness. Am I pronouncing that right? And it's not forwardness, it's frowardness. There's an R in front of the O. So Frowardness. And what it is that according to, I think he says it's part of Christian theology, and it's a situation where someone moves or faces away from something or someone, right? And he says that frowardness is a vice of human nature. You shouldn't move away from someone or something. And mind cure, he says mind cure would call this fear. However, he says in renaming this aspect of religion, fear, they've actually turned it into religious movement. And these are the steps he takes. He says that Horace Fletcher talks about fear as an evolutionary process, but it's become unnecessary in our day and age. So for example, we had fear when we're afraid of tigers and lions trying to eat us. So that really helped a lot. But nowadays, tigers and lions are not going to eat us. So when we do have this amazing fear for our lives, it's often for non-life-threatening things. Like, oh no, I'm going to have a bill to pay and bad things are going to happen. Yeah, bills are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as getting eaten by a lion. Although some would disagree. Okay, but still, he's saying that fear is not as necessary in our current modern age as it was back evolutionarily. And then he coined the term fear thought as a negative parts of forethought, meaning that if you're trying to think about something, it's basically anxiety. So if you're anxious about something that might happen to you in the future that's not really helpful, then he would call that fear thought. And and he says that H.W. Dresser and Henry Woods also echo this idea about evolution and fear and things like that. However, William James says that this language of fear is actually not very different from the language used in Christianity about the fallen man, like men are fallen, right? And that it's not different from the idea that people are broken and they are fallen. And so for the mind cure movement, the spirituality part is it's partly conscious and partly unconscious, but the subconscious, conscious and subconscious, and the subconscious is very similar, or it's basically being one with the divine, and can be viewed in Christian mysticism, transcendental idealism, and Vedantism and modern psychology. That's what he says. And therefore, this oneness with God, this very general sort of spirituality, that's a oneness with God, that says if you have this sort of healthy mindedness, you'll be one with God and be happy. It's actually not very different from religion, and it is in fact a religion. So he really wanted to highlight that point about the mind cure movement. So big takeaway points for today is that this idea of healthy mindedness as a cure for your mind now that we know that healthy mindedness has the ability to make you happy by reinterpreting bad things, now we can call the movement a mind cure movement through healthy mindedness. His big thing is to say that this is actually a religion. So therefore it's worth our further investigation into religious experience. So what are your thoughts? Do you have examples of mind cure or examples of mind cure happening in this day and age? Let me know, and let me know in the comments, and do like and subscribe. I'll talk to you later. Hello. So the truth is that 10-minute videos can only really get you so far, and I really want to help you understand how psychiatry and religion can really improve your life, and I really want to go deeper. However, that can take many forms. It can be in a book, still in progress. It can be an app possibly, or maybe a club or a workshop or a webinar of some sort. It could be educational videos, or it could even be offering my own psychiatric services. As I thought about all these ideas, I definitely want to create this giant empire of some sort to help people understand how psychiatry and religion can help their life. But I learned that all of these things require a significant amount of time and investment to do it right, to get it, done correctly. So I was thinking about which one I should start with, but then I realized, hey, why don't I just ask you? What do you think? I'd like to know. I'd like to know, what are you looking for? How can I help you? What type of service or product would you be most interested in? Let me know in the comments, or you can always find my email or message me privately. I would love to hear from you. So yeah, help me out. Let me know what you think would be best to start off with, and that'd be really helpful. I'll talk to you later.